Hello, everybody. Elephant in the room here. Let's just address it right off. I am wearing the same shirt as I was wearing yesterday, and that's okay. It's not dirty. I don't smell. I didn't sweat. It's okay. So now we've addressed it. We both know it's happening. Let's move on with the conversation. All right. So, so far this week we've been talking about. This week has been an intro to self-awareness, right? And at first we were talking about, we had to define the self. And the self, really, when you think about it, is actually the observer of everything that's going on in your life, right? The self is, you're not your feelings, you're not your thoughts, you're not your behaviors. You are the person or the being that is observing all of that. So we kind of talked about that. And then we discussed the psyche, which is what we normally identify ourselves with. But it actually turns out to be the stuff about ourselves that we are observing, which includes our emotions, our thoughts, our behaviors, personality, and all that stuff. And then yesterday, we were talking about noticing our behaviors and thoughts without judging, and emotions without judging them, which is crucial because otherwise you won't be able to move forward. If you're judging yourself, you just get stuck. So right now I wanted to discuss more about patterns of behavior and things that trigger them. So patterns and triggers. Welcome to today's, not lesson, but it's a little late than I wanted to be, but you know what? It's not 11 o'clock at night. So today we're talking about patterns and triggers. Patterns, I'll give you an example from my life, because I was talking to you yesterday about this, or was it this morning? Who knows? But as I've been calling my attention to my patterns, like I just see a lot of them. A lot. So what was I talking about yesterday? Oh my God, what was I? I should have prepared this before I got on the thing. So I was talking about how I find it hard to, it's like an attention thing. And that's because of the energy that's all around me, but I will punish myself. I punish myself over things that are not punishable offenses. Like maybe some of them are like, but most of them, I think logically aren't even really a problem. But I just have this habit, and this is a little different, I think, there's like a difference here. The difference is like there's patterns and triggers that make sense. And there's the triggers and patterns that are kind of like, that's a little off. But I'm just going to give you an example from my life, and you can apply it to however you want. So I have this habit of beating the shit out of myself. Not beating. I've gotten better at the voice of the critic. I don't talk to myself that way anymore, but I do still have these feelings, and I do cringe and have these problems when I think about like little things that I did that might have offended somebody, or it's the weirdest shit, I have to tell you. So that's a pattern. The trigger is the thought of that, whatever it is that I'm having a reaction to. And that's an example, but I'm trying to think about how I can even change that. Oh yeah, no, I do. I know. We covered this yesterday, Jen. All right, so it's important. So that's an example from my life. You can figure, there are millions. If you were observing your behaviors and patterns and thoughts, and your behaviors and your thoughts and your emotions yesterday, you definitely saw this. But because it happens so much you don't even realize it until you're like looking for it, or you're just aware of it. You're like, I'm doing that again. I'm doing that again. So the thing about the importance of recognizing the patterns is that when you recognize a pattern, you can identify it when you're doing it, and it allows you to kind of take a look at it and help you understand why you're behaving the way that you are, or why you're thinking the thing that you're thinking, or why you are feeling the way that you're feeling. And we've kind of been talking a bit about emotional awareness, which is part of the self-awareness, which is really about psyche awareness, but we're going with both definitions of self-awareness at this point, both self as the observer and self as the psyche. So it should be clear from context which I'm referring to. So we need to, in order to recognize our patterns, we need to be aware of what we're doing, right? So this emotional awareness helps identify these patterns and their sources. Behavioral change, right? So it's important to recognize things because it allows you to change your behavior. You have to be aware of it before you can change it. You have to see the pattern in order to understand it, in order to change it. So what this allows you to do is then proactively manage yourself. When you know your triggers, and you can be on the lookout for them, and you can be aware that it's going to happen or might happen, and then you can manage your response better. And it doesn't happen overnight. It does not happen overnight. It's a pattern. Pattern means habit, guys. It's a habit, and habits, especially like ones that are attached to emotions, really hard sometimes to break. I say that. There are people I know who'd be like, that's a really terrible affirmation. It's really easy to break the patterns. And it's not. So you've never had one then. So the good thing about recognizing the patterns as well, and being able to proactively manage your state and your behavior, is that it reduces your reactivity. So when you see it coming, you're like, okay, hang on, chill. And it helps you understand yourself. When you see your patterns, you see your triggers, you're understanding yourself, really. You know, it's not just like, oh, there's this and there's that. It's like, oh, I do this in response to this. Well, why is that? Oh, because I have this inside of me, and this is inside of me because of that. You know, I mean, like it just, it helps you know you. And in order to know you, it's really important to know yourself, because then you can get at what's bothering you. That's when you can get at what the problem is and fix it, the base problem, not the, oh, I got to stop eating ice cream problem. Because that's a problem, but it's a symptom. It's also a symptom of a deeper problem. And if we get at the deeper problem, then the other stuff, even though it's a habit, the habit's going to be easier to break, because it's still a habit. Let's be honest, it's still a habit. But you start noticing, like, oh, I don't actually need that. So, let's go along with this this ice cream eating habit. I like ice cream. I do. Even now that I stopped eating dairy, because apparently Ashkenazi Jews have a stomach that can't handle dairy. And that is what I am, though I am also culturally Irish Catholic. But my stomach, yeah, that's a completely pointless part of the story. I eat ice cream. Oh my God, it's like 8 minutes long already. I eat ice cream in response to any emotion, any strong emotion, like fear, feeling bad for myself, loneliness, anger, celebration, joy, like, oh, I deserve this, or, oh, I deserve this. You know, I mean, there's a lot of it. So in order to head that off, I've been able to wait. How have I really interrupted that pattern? It's hard, because if I do it once, then I do it for like a week. But what I do there is, a lot of times I would prefer not to keep ice cream in the house, but it's not my house, and it's there. And sometimes it's just like, but I put a note on it that says, Jen, you will regret this later. And when I see that note, it does help. I stop. So that's good. And also the baseline problem, right, is my emotional regulation, or lack thereof. And the association I have to the dopamine boost that I get from eating. So those are two things to work on, right? One is becoming more stable, and being more aware of being healthy, as well as loving myself enough to want to be healthy and make the effort to be healthy, and being invested enough in my future to do it. And then there's like, okay, well, if instead of eating, what can I do? I can write, I can draw, I can do this, I can do that. It's hard to remember that in the moment, but it does help. So it's a long video, I know, but there are a lot. Let's talk about how you can identify the triggers and patterns, right? Yesterday we were talking about just observing your emotions and your thoughts and your behaviors without judging. Well, once you start observing them, you do start detecting patterns. And one way to really think this out and solidify it in your head is to journal. And that's like, I mean, I journal a lot. And the awesome thing about this is getting very long. The awesome thing about journaling is that you discover so much. You ask questions and you get answers. Or, you know, you're writing something and then all of a sudden this insight about it comes out and you're like, I didn't even know that, but that's so true. So it really helps. I mean, journaling helps me immensely. And if that's something that appeals to you, do it. And I'm talking like, I've been off for a little bit. I haven't been doing it every day, but like there are points in my life where I do it every morning for a while. I mean, I know people, I don't have children. I don't have a partner. I don't have a lot of stuff. So what I do have is a lot of time. So I can spend time doing these things, but even just a little, you know, I notice it when I don't journal, especially when I'm journaling every day. It's like later in the day, I'm like, why do I feel so shitty? I was like, oh, I didn't journal this morning. And then you can kind of reread stuff too, you know what I mean? It stays in your head so you can see day to day. You're like, oh, I remember I wrote this back then. But also you can go reread and see, oh no, I see this pattern now. So, you know, you can also, it's important to take the time to reflect on them, and consider what causes them. And when you notice a pattern, it's a good idea to ask yourself, like, what's underlying it? What feelings or events or situations or whatever trigger this behavior? And that's just important to look at. So sorry, I've got my notes right there. That's why you keep seeing me do this. So that's pretty much it. It's been a long video, really sorry. You guys, I would love for you to share your experiences in self-awareness in the comments if you so choose. And if not, that's okay too. But, you know, I'd like to see them. And I'm just going to remind you that even if, like, and I said this yesterday too, even if you do a really long video that you don't think that you can actually really shorten, even if you tried to do it again, you can always choose to have a grateful day.